Well, hey folks, it's your old pal King Krampus. Welcome back to Total Party Skills. I'm in the middle of trying to write something and get it finished finally. To that end, since it's a interesting take on an OSR scenario, I'm kind of debating on whether or not I want to split it in two and go ahead and just put out the character creation section and then have a separate book for the Dungeon Master stuff, and then, maybe like a third version that's both put together. But as of now, I'm kind of just inclined to just go ahead and finish it and put it all out as one thing. But, if you want to see what I have cooking, I already got all the character creation section shit written out, so that's pretty much ready to go. Just got to work on some other things to wrap it all up. But I keep hearing talk something about Wizards of the Coast is wanting to monetize DMs now. I don't know the full details of this. It's just something I've started to notice. Someone left a comment about it, and I'm starting to see a few other channels start to do videos about it. I'm not act like I'm super informed on what the thing is. So just some general commentary on the idea of monetizing being a dungeon master and why there might not be enough. The thing is the phrasing of it is not enough dungeon masters to monetize. So is that saying the total volume of dungeon masters isn't big enough, for the total volume of dungeon masters willing to work for Wizards of the Coast and be monetized through them, which is what I would assume this is about, is there just not enough of a pool of people for that? Dungeons and Dragons, especially under the Wizards of the Coast era, kind of has a little bit of a love-hate relationship with its DMs, kind of on a low-key basis. We are the ones that buy the bulk of their products, and yet we are not actually the bulk of their customer base. The amount of people who just want to play is a lot larger pool of people, and large part because, it has to be that way in order for you to be able to find groups and not have too much conflict of a bunch of DMs trying to kind of, like sub-DM to each other all the time. You need people who just are interested in playing the game and focused on playing the game and sticking with their character and inhabiting that character. To be the Dungeon Master is to juggle so many different things at once. It takes a lot of time and preparation. Even using pre-published modules and stuff, you still have to spend, like several hours a week at bare minimum getting yourself ready. Just to do a weekly session. And the longer those sessions are, the more materials that you need to have prepped ahead of time, and so on and so forth. A long time ago, I did do a video just on the basic idea of just should Dungeon Masters monetize themselves? Should we charge people for our services? Not through Wizards of the Coast, just like on an individual basis, kind of like a freelancer kind of a thing. To which case, I'm not necessarily convinced, one way or the other. In fact, I probably still tend to side on the, don't charge for it. Just on the basis of as soon as you're charging for the service, you're then kind of bound to all the expectations that come with providing a public service. Whereas opposed if you're just doing it voluntarily with friends or people you've agreed to include in your group, there's less legal limitations on that basis, shall we say, when it comes to how choosy you want to be about who's in your play group and any of that other kind of stuff. Monetizing through Wizards of the Coast to, I guess, run games on their behalf, I would just assume is going to mean that you're going to have very little say on how you want to run the game, how much you want to be able to use house rules, how much you want to be able to limit your players' options, and you're kind of just stuck with what other players you get assigned with, would be my guess. And all of that is a little unattractive to one way or another. Also, there are other role-playing games in the world, and Cyberpunk gonna have to start monetizing their DMs. Is Onyx Path or Renegade Studios gonna have to start monetizing people who want to play World of Darkness games, so on and so on. Is Catalyst, are people gonna get paid for running MechWarrior? Probably not. Thing is, though, is the hobby is expensive. And it's kind of interesting that, they'd offer to monetize people running the game and make a little money for being a dungeon master, but yet I would assume they're still going to expect the dungeon masters to turn around and still have to spend hundreds of dollars on materials from them so that they can run these games. Are they going to be giving dungeon masters who sign up and are official blue check marked, getting their paycheck monetized dungeon masters, are they going to get free materials? Are they going to get free copies of the one D&D rule set? Any of that kind of stuff? Or, like I said, are we still going to be expected to have to shell out money to make a pittance back as kind of like a pat on the head to encourage us to toe the line and do their work for them? I mean, hell, with the way things are going with AI art and AI writing and AI language translation and AI everything, it's probably not too far off if you actually can have an AI dungeon master that actually, can improvise and come up with ideas on its own and kind of stuff. And at which point, we can finally be the obsolete creatures that they'd want us to be. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things to consider, as to like what the problem about this might all be, and why there just isn't enough people. As much as like there are those out there who want to say that being the DM is like being on a pedestal. It's also a massive headache for a lot of various reasons. You end up taking the heap of the mountain of the blame for anything that goes wrong, or if there's some sort of problem with the rule system. In the moment, you're the one who's having to, convince the players that what's happening is fair to them and all that kind of stuff. And, that can be a bit of a hard row to hoe every once in a while. It's not an easy lifestyle. And it's time consuming, and it's expensive, and it's pretty thankless in a lot of ways, despite the fact that, you're automatically assumed to have this role of authority within your gaming group and all that. And also, as I said, monetizing kind of reduces your freedom to pick and choose who you want to have in your gaming group. Because if you're charging a service, well, anyone who has the money should be allowed to have the service. And, this is supposed to be kind of a personal experience amongst people who've chosen to share in this co-imagining of things. And, I don't know. Shouldn't be treated too casually. So anyway, I guess that's about that. Until next time, have a Merry Krampus and stay waspinated.